The village of Eldenwood was once a tapestry of vibrant life. Golden wheat swayed in sun-drenched fields. Children's laughter echoed through the cobblestone streets, but war had cast a long, dark shadow over the land. The once bright houses now stood cloaked in sorrow, their windows like vacant eyes. The war had taken many things from Eldenwood, but most of all, it had taken its sons. Adeline Thorne walked through the sombre streets. Each step was heavy with grief. The war had ripped away the village's joy, and it had also stolen her brother Thomas. She clutched his last letter close to her heart, the paper worn thin from her constant touch. His words, filled with hope and longing for home, were a painful reminder of all she had lost. Adeline reached the small cottage he and Thomas had shared since childhood. The garden, once bursting with Thomas's beloved sunflowers, lay neglected and overrun with weeds. A single sunflower, wilted and drooping, clung stubbornly to life by the porch, a poignant symbol of hope amidst despair. Inside, the cottage was filled with a deafening silence. Every corner held a memory of Thomas, his favourite armchair by the fireplace, his collection of adventure stories stacked on the shelf, the chipped mug he always used for his morning tea. Adeline sank to the floor, overwhelmed by the suffocating weight of her grief. The pain of losing Thomas was a raw wound in her heart. It was a constant ache that never seemed to fade. She longed for a moment's respite, a single breath, without the crushing weight of sorrow. Sleep offered little solace, haunted as it was by vivid nightmares of the battlefield. One evening, as the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across Eldenwood, a stranger arrived at the village. He was tall and cloaked in a long, dark travelling cloak, his face obscured by a wide-brimmed hat. He carried himself with an air of quiet mystery, and his eyes held a depth that both intrigued and unsettled the villagers. Word spread quickly that the stranger was a peddler of sorts, but instead of ordinary wares, he offered something far more unusual. Elixirs and potions said to heal the deepest wounds, ease the most profound sorrows, and even alter memories. Some villagers dismissed him as a charlatan, but others, desperate for relief from their own wartime burdens, flocked to him with hopeful yet wary hearts. Adeline first saw the stranger in the village square, surrounded by curious onlookers. She was initially hesitant, sceptical of his claims, yet as she watched him, a flicker of desperate hope ignited within her. Could this stranger, with his strange wares, truly offer her a way to escape the relentless grip of her grief? Gathering her courage, Adeline approached the stranger. He listened intently as she spoke of Thomas, her voice trembling with unshed tears. When she finished, he regarded her with an unreadable expression in his dark eyes. "I have something that might help you," he said, his voice low and melodic, with a hint of an unknown accent. "A memory-fragment elixir. One sip and the pain of your loss will fade. Your brother's memory will remain, but the sharp edges of grief will be dulled." He produced a small crystal vial filled with a swirling, opalescent liquid that shimmered like moonlight on water. It seemed to pulse with an inner light, beckoning her with the promise of peace. For the first time since Thomas's death, Adeline felt a flicker of hope. Could this elixir be the answer to her prayers, a way to finally silence the torment in her soul? Section 5. The Weight of the Past. Adeline returned to her cottage, clutching the vial of memory-fragment elixir tightly in her hand. She sat by the cold hearth, the stranger's words echoing in her ears. "The pain of your loss will fade." The thought was both tempting and terrifying. Part of her yearned for the promised relief, to escape the crushing weight of her sorrow. She was weary of the constant ache in her heart, the ever-present emptiness that Thomas's absence had left behind. The elixir offered an alluring escape, a chance to finally breathe again, but as she stared at the swirling liquid, doubt gnawed at her. Could she truly erase a part of her grief, a part of her love for Thomas? Wasn't her pain a testament to the depth of their bond, a reminder of the love they shared? The thought of diminishing her memories, even the painful ones, filled her with a profound sense of unease. With pain. Adeline closed her eyes, and a memory, vivid and heartbreaking, surfaced in her mind. She was 12, and Thomas, always the protective older brother, had tried to teach her how to ride his old rickety bicycle. She had fallen, scraping her knees on the rough cobblestones, and tears had welled in her eyes. Thomas, instead of teasing her, had sat down beside her, his laughter gentle and kind. "See, Adeline," he had said, wiping away her tears with a grubby thumb, "even falling can be an adventure. It's how you get back up that matters." His words, spoken with such earnest conviction, had always stayed with her, a guiding principle in her life. Adeline realized then that her grief, as agonizing as it was a testament to the depth of her love for Thomas. It was a reflection of the indelible mark he had left on her soul. To erase her pain would be to erase a part of him, to diminish the precious bond they shared. That, she knew, she could never do. With newfound resolve, Adeline walked to the hearth and flung the vial of Memory-Fragment Elixir into the dying embers. The vial shattered with a soft crack, and the opalescent liquid evaporated into the flames, leaving behind a faint scent of lavender and the lingering echo of what might have been. She stood there for a long moment, watching as the flames consumed the last vestiges of the elixir. A sense of peace settled over her, a quiet acceptance of her grief. She would not erase her memories of Thomas, no matter how painful they might be. She understood now that her memories, both joyful and sorrowful, were a part of who she was. They were a testament to a love that death could not diminish, a bond that transcended the boundaries of life and loss. She would carry her grief with her, not as a burden, but as a tribute to the enduring power of love and memory. As the first rays of dawn painted the sky with hues of pink and gold, Adeline stepped outside. The village, still cloaked in the quiet hush of early morning, seemed less sombre than before. Or perhaps it was simply that Adeline saw it with new eyes. Eyes that had looked into the abyss of despair and emerged stronger, more resolute. She walked to the neglected garden, the memory of Thomas's laughter echoing in her ears. Kneeling down, she gently touched the wilted sunflower, its petals drooping with the weight of the morning dew. It was a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, life endures, and so would she. Adeline would honor Thomas's memory by embracing life, by cherishing the memories they had made, and by striving to live a life that would have made him proud. Her grief might always be a part of her, but it would no longer define her. She would carry it with her, a bittersweet reminder of the enduring power of love and the strength that comes from embracing even the most painful of memories.